A very pleasant morning to Nandal. In previous class, we have discussed on the topic of memory mapped I/O and I/O mapped I/O devices and what is their major differences and what is interfacing and how interfacing plays a role for the microprocessor. Today, we are going to see on the topic of 8251 universal synchronous and asynchronous receiver transmitter called USART acts as a mediator between microprocessor and peripheral to transmit serial data into a parallel form and vice versa. Firstly, it takes the data serially from the peripheral devices, that is outside devices, and converts into a parallel data. After converting the parallel data, it transmits it to the CPU. Similarly, it can receive the parallel data from the microprocessor and convert it into a serial form. After converting the data into a serial form, it transmits it into the outside devices called peripheral devices. You can see the block diagram of it, in which we can see that it consists of pin of D0 to D7 is called a data bus buffer, where we can read the data, and also we can have the read write logic control and modem control and a transmit buffer, transmit control, receiver buffer and receiver control. We can see the brief about a single block. Each block we can see. It contains the following block. The block diagram is consists of, firstly it starts with the data bus buffer. This block helps in interfacing the internal data bus of 8251 to the system data bus. The data transmission is possible between 8251 and CPU by the data bus buffer block. It is majorly connection between the CPU and the microcontroller, where it can transmit the data from 8251 to the CPU and CPU to the 8251 microprocessor. As read-write control logic, it is a control block for overall devices. It controls the overall working by selecting the operations to be done. The operation selection depends upon the input signals, as in this way. This unit select one of the three registers: data buffer register, control register and status register, and the modem control modulator or demodulator. A device converts analog signal to digital signals and vice versa, helps the computer communicate over telephone lines and cable wires. The following are the active low pins of modem called DSR, data set ready signal, is an input signal. DTR, data terminal ready, is an output signal. CTS, it is an input signal which controls the data transmit circuit. And RTS, it is an output signal which is used for receiving the transmitting signal. Which is used to set the status of RTS. Transmit buffer. This block is used for parallel to serial converter that receive a parallel byte of conversion into the serial signal and further transmission onto the common channel. TXT is an output signal. If its value is 1, means transmitter will transmit the data. Where it is 0, it will not transmit the data. It doesn't receive the data. Whereas transmit control, this block is used to control the data transmission with the help of the following pins: TX or DY. It means transmitter is ready to transmit data character. TX empty, an output signal which indicates that TX empty pin has transmitted all the data characters and the transmitter is empty now. That is, the transmitter has transferred all the data and is now currently is empty. Whereas TXC, an active low input pin which controls the data transmission rate of transmitted data, and followed by receiver buffer. This block acts as a buffer for receiving the data. RXT, an input signal which receives the data. Receive control, this block controls the receiving data. And RX or DY, an input signal that is ready to receive the data. RXC, an active low input signal which controls the data transmission rate of received data. Whereas BD or SYNDET, and SY and DET, an input or output terminal external synchronous mode input terminal and asynchronous mode output terminal. Thank you. In next class we can see the interrupt controller and followed by the other devices. Thank you.